What's up, everybody? Midjourney Fast Hours podcast, episode 49. Drew Brucker, Rory Flynn, and we've got a special guest today, Marco Isle, legends only. And Marco's one of the OGs, I would say. Also, been deep into Midjourney, been deep into AI image gen for I don't know forever since I've first seen your name pop up on X, and we're excited to have you here today, man. So welcome. Why
Thank you
don't
so
you
much.
just sort of give a quick introduction of yourself for those that aren't familiar with you?
Hey, yeah, thanks very much, Drew. Yeah, so like you said, I mean, I've kind of been dabbling with AI stuff, starting with Midjourney, obviously, but the OG for about like three and a half years. And yeah, like I started just messing about on online and just posting really because there was so many things to discover. I was kind of just posting like an online journal for myself, and then people were kind of digging the stuff, and it kind of just snowballed from there. Like I always try and stay true to what I like rather than like going with just noise. Like so, if I want to do like fashion stuff or whatever it might be, I kind of just stick to that. And then I just post and share findings because obviously there's a million things that are possible, and it's just nice to kind of put it out there. If it can help other people, great. And that's kind of it, really.
What's your origin story too with like the interest in AI image gen? Like, what's your background like that maybe connects some of those dots, or was
So
it just totally different and you found this and you're just like, oh, this is a brand new thing that's like something I
no,
didn't
like
know I cared about?
I think so. So I've got a background in like graphic design, user experience, and interface design, and fashion as well. Like I basically design baseball caps and t-shirts, and I used to like have several websites like selling third-party brands, online. And I actually got into like the digital space just by setting up a shop on eBay back in the day, and
Okay.
I was annoyed at how shit the listings looked when you added your products. Right? I was like, okay, if we make the listings look nice, can I charge more for said products, or can I
Yeah.
get more? And like, it's like going into a store that's like peeling walls and all the rest of it, unless that's the vibe. But like, you're a bit sketchy and you're a bit unsure about parting with your money. Whereas if it's like really nice and wrapped, it's marketing. It's 101. You can have a really shit product and market it amazingly and do really well. You can have an amazing product and market it poorly and it doesn't sell. So it was kind of I always love, which is why I kind of got into UI and UX. I love aesthetics and mechanics, how it looks and how it works, and I think they go hand in
Mm.
hand.
Oh, I love that. We talk
I
a
got
lot
a
about
question for you.
mechanics on here with
Yeah.
the AI image gen, right? With the prompting sort
Yeah, there
of
is
like
there is
mindset
that
you
to
have
it.
to have, especially early on with the models, right? It was almost like it was hard to get things without describing them mechanically. So I think
Yeah,
that's
I
an
agree.
interesting, yeah, word that you use there. Go ahead, Rory.
No, say Mark, I got a question for you. On a scale of like 1 to 100, what's your creative ADHD levels?
Mate, I'm pretty high up, dude.
I think we're all sort of in that. I think that's why we like find each other because we
Yeah,
just know that like is or anyone that's basically in the space, right? Like if you don't have some level of creative ADHD or like curiosity, I don't think for people who don't know Marco or haven't been following him, he does great stuff on AI, but some of the other stuff that you've done is super cool too. Like I remember you putting together some magazines and
oh
stuff
yeah,
like that. You do, product design, you're designing t-shirts, hats, things like that. Also, we just talked about this before we got on. Marco likes to cook a lot. So, some of the things that he's dreaming up in the kitchen, that's not because we have AI tools. That's because we have creative. We have a creative on here and a creative mindset. So, dude, I just like I said, I really like how you sort of like bridge all of that energy out there creatively and put it into the AI work too, because you can see it a lot of times. I remember some of your stuff early on that I saw first was like it was like fashion and like the Greek Acropolis with like the graffiti, and it's like there's more layers than just like give me a woman in like a fashion pose. There's like a
yeah,
lot of intention behind it.
yeah. No, yeah, that's well said, man. Like, yeah, I think there's so many depths to what we do, and you kind of like everyone has really interesting backgrounds that they draw upon to like bring into the mix when they're kind of like exploring. And I think, we all know that Midjourney and other image gen tools, but mainly Midjourney because obviously it's the OG, are all visual things, right? So when I'm kind of doing stuff, I'm not just typing stuff in and then iterating without looking at what I'm seeing. Like I see something I like, or like, oh, that's cool. I didn't mean to do that, but actually that's quite cool. And I'll start like going off on that direction. It's a visual thing that you can kind of just navigate, and it's really nice. It's like it's very similar to cooking. You have a recipe that you follow, but it's more about technique, because if you know how to make a cake, right, you can change the flavors. It's literally that. Like once you know the technique and the process, like the structured way of organizing the prompts, you can then swap out the angles or the parameters or the lighting or whatever it might be. You make
Right. Let's roll the tape.
There we go. All right. So we're just taking a look at Marco's stuff here. Rory, you were talking about some of the stuff that he's put together. So he's got some of the stuff here, right, Marco? You've got sort of like, I guess, some prompt collections, but you've also got the prompt magazine stuff that you were doing too. Is that different from this?
Yeah. So the prompt magazine was a collaboration I did with FreePick for the first upscale conference that they did in Malaga. So we just did a magazine as like a little goodie bag thing to go with the show, which was a nice thing, because like in this digital age, this is so nice to actually be able to have something tactile to flick through.
It's great, man. That was really cool. I remember you showing me sort of like the layout and stuff, and I was like, this is where it looks cool in hard copy. Like it's not, it's like getting Midjourney magazine or the like the a special edition book they put out.
Yeah,
But
digital version. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
We've actually got an extended version via PDF, which I can send to you, of that magazine.
Yeah, and if there's a link to that, let us know. We can include that in the show notes too for folks. Yeah, I was looking at this. You've got this, and then obviously good follow on X. That's your primary channel, correct?
Yeah, like to be honest, like when I started Next, I wasn't really posting on LinkedIn until like probably earlier this year. I've just been kind of doing stuff on X. It's so funny, like looking at my feed in white because I've got a dark mode on my screen.
Yeah, I know.
It pops so much
giving
more
you
on the white.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like switching browsers all the time, and it always defaults to white. And then I gotta
That
go
shot
in and
there,
change it.
Drew, is
This
I
one right
started
here?
doing I started doing a whole lot of thing around mythology, and that mythology meets the metropolis, like really cool, like kind of like all these characters like thrown into like New York, or just quite
Yeah,
cool
I
concept.
like the dark gritty vibe too.
Yeah.
What I like about both of you is I can always look at the images and know exactly who it's from. Which is like after there's a lot of exploration and stirring, like straying from the mean, but like also at the same time, like I know a Marco image, I know a Drew image when I see it. Like if I didn't see your handle, I'd know it's you because there's consistent themes just like sort of baked throughout a lot of the content, and I know it's like a lot of the stuff that you do and the angles and sort of like the exploration. And then Drew's I can tell right away. Like I know a Drew image out of nowhere. Like you could put that in a lineup, and I'd be like, that's Drew, 100%. But it's cool, man. Like the Metropolis, like that mythology Metropolis. It seems like a lot of that is sort of baked into what you're doing overall. Is that something like what? Why that?
Well, so going back to what you were talking about previously, like the graffiti kind of like Roman columns and stuff. So I basically when frames first came out at Runway Frames, they asked me to do some like testing prior to it launching, and I really liked the idea of like I called it Rome Reimagined. So it was like taking all of the elements like that I could think of from ancient Rome. So obviously the architecture, the clothing, the environment, all that kind of stuff, and actually then bringing it into like 21st century. So, and I did like XXV. It was the thing. So it was like 2025. and like looking at I did a whole bunch of like plinths with marble sneakers and stuff on them instead of like Roman busts, and like graffiti columns, and then looking at like having the togas but having it like camouflage, for example, instead of just normal silk. Just really experimenting with that. And then yeah, like I love that. That was another one actually. The girl with
Which
the
one?
horns that you. If you go to that, well, that's part of it. Yeah, if you click into that thread, so she's got like golden horns basically. Yeah, that one there. Um, yeah, I kind of just started doing these. I've got a really cool prompt that I was
Like
using,
that.
and yeah, man, I made a few mood boards, and then just like this prompt seemed to just open up all these really cool things. Yeah.
Can we start to
Is
petition? Can we start to petition Midjourney to get multi-prompting back? I know you like
Oh,
that.
man. I don't understand. I know they changed their architecture, right, for when they did V7 onwards. But actually did my last PDF series on Gumroad is actually on prompt stacking or multi-prompting, and you can really get some interesting stuff because you're kind of fusing multiple ideas and directions and then weighting them in different ways. And like, obviously you guys all use seeds and you fix the seed to test things, but like just fixing the seed and then like weighting things one way or another when you have two or three stacks. So interesting. I really like it. You can get some amazing stuff.
you can. I don't. Yeah, it's interesting to
I
like to
miss it.
hear and wonder what other people do inside of Midjourney with weighting in general, because I have always found that fascinating. With image and style ref too. Just like how you can dial those in, and just get completely different results, or even just blending right and weighting, and it's just there's so
Even
many
weights.
different
Yeah.
variations of a single idea or sort of like workflow within Midjourney to get unique results just by dialing in the weights. I mean,
It's mental.
um, yeah, it's
What?
it's it's pretty wild.
What's your like? Here's a Midjourney question. If you're going in there, what's the feature that you're using the most? Are you using mood boards, SREF, multi-prompt,
To be
weighting?
honest, like SREFs, like I actually again I did another PDF on like how to recreate SREFs without using an SREF,
Uh,
just using natural language basically. So I mean I would say I don't use SREFs that much. Like obviously they're very powerful, like when you use an image as a reference or whatever. But yeah, I kind of just like seeing what I have from my prompt, and I built a tool which I think I've run some stuff that you sent me, Rory, through to like extract the
it's me.
tokens. So yeah, basically I was it's like the fifth version of this tool that I've been like playing with. It's like a custom GPT basically, Drew. And yeah, so like obviously it does like you can upload an image and it does like gives you a decent prompt and then like a structured breakdown as well. And then I was playing with like this experimental thing where you like fusing some of the words together, because obviously an LLM doesn't look at text how humans look at it. So I got some really really interesting results by doing that. And it kind of gives me five like very short sentences fused together as one prompt, so I can run that as a whole thing. And it's almost like prompt stacking without prompt stacking, like without waiting. And then you can like take out each individual statement and then run those as well, and you get other stuff. And it's just endless,
It's
mate.
awesome though. Like it's really like that was the first thing that I noticed with it when you were sending me the prompts back, and it was like, I was getting these crazy like it's like term bashing, right? It's like almost like blending two images, but with like blending two tokens. I remember it being like getting something. It was like a Jaguar or something I sent you, and it
Oh
was
yeah, that was
like
awesome.
Apex integration or something as like one word. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but it's cool, and it worked, and it gave me some really crazy stuff. So, again, we've talked about a bunch of prompting techniques on here, Drew. I don't know if we've ever mentioned sort of token bashing
I know.
before.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I don't think we
No.
have. And that's kind of what I was looking for, because I know you posted something on that. It probably was a while back. Um, so maybe we can pull it. I don't know. Do you, is the GPT something that like is far enough
It's
along that you want to show here? or is
Um,
it still work in progress for you?
I mean, it works fine, but like, it's just not public. But I can show you if you want, like how it works.
I
Yeah,
love
what's
these. I love these too. These are great.
That's actually with Rev. Even though
Yeah.
I wanted to say Reeve. That's how I always say it.
Is
But
it Reeve or is it Rev?
no, well, I always say Reeve because of the E, right? But it's actually
Okay.
Rev, apparently.
Like here's an example, right? Token
Exactly. Yeah.
bashing, right? Like
Exactly.
these
Yeah.
sort of words that just are two words that form one word, right? It's
It's
this
exactly
net
it.
new
Yeah.
word, right? Yeah, it's kind of dope. I've never really played with that concept before, but I think that's a really cool thing. And so, like Rory, we've talked about a lot of things on
yeah.
this podcast to the point where it feels like we're always like, oh, we've talked about this before, but this is I think this is sort of like one of those novel things I haven't seen before. So
One of the other things as well. This is a while back, but I was. I'll see if I can find it, but it's because it was quite a while. I think it was last year, but literally some of the words I was just trying to work out like illumination and enlightenment or whatever, like putting them together. So like illumination or whatever, all these kind of different things, and some of the results, man, were like insane. Like I did a provocative forest kind of thing. So it was like, I can't remember, but it was like provocation, but the end bit instead of occasion was like illumination as well. Like there's like, I don't know, it's just light and eroticism and all sorts of cool stuff.
That's awesome though.
It's really interesting. I find that kind of stuff. It's untapped. I think David was saying from Midjourney, he was basically saying that not a lot of people use the advanced stuff, like all the weighting, which is why they kind of weren't too bothered about it. But
yeah,
But it's fun because that's the creative piece of it. That's not the control. That's the like let Midjourney be Midjourney, do its own like wacky stuff, and you end up with really cool things. Because
but it's
100%.
also like the creative part on both sides, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like that's not really something that Midjourney would have thought to do or promote. It's something that you thought about. That's this sort of like new idea, but then Midjourney can execute on it creatively as well. So it's kind of like this combination, which is
Exactly.
pretty cool.
because it still is the only tool to me that allows you to be that creative and not have to force control. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's not about forced control. It is about just like let me smash two random words together and maybe this will make something cool. So I do love. I love. Dude, that was like one of the when you showed me that was the first time I had seen anyone sort of thinking that way. And even for like instead of it being like even in the prompt structuring thing. So like again, for anyone who doesn't know, what we're talking about like the GPT that Marco built. Like when it spits out the prompt, like it's in a structured fashion. But instead of it saying like subject and then like colon and like this, like I saw it up in one of the things before, it said like Metro Muse. Like that was like the name of the subject, which like instead of naming it as subject or environment or whatever, it was like utilizing like a token as like a holding category, which I was like, all right, cool. That's another little like
These are
micro
sick.
tip. Yeah.
And
Like
the thing is with that tool, like so you can basically put in like a Pinterest image or whatever it is, like a reference image you like. But then
There's another one.
I was kind of like putting my own images in. So like you kind of just continually evolving and just going down a complete rabbit hole with like seeing what it would seeing what prompts and tokens it would give you from reinserting images created from the prompts and tokens it given you previously. It's like insane.
Okay, so I know we got a lot to talk about today, but I
Yeah.
am curious. Like, like to me, you're always like talking about tokens. And I think like this, token bashing thing adds another level to it. Do you have any general favorites that you like at the moment, or that you're experimenting with, or that you just always go back to time and time again?
I mean, the one you actually did a post the other day, which I replied to about shadowplay. I mean, that's one of my favorite things.
Shadow plays
I think
great.
Rory loves a bit of shadow as well,
I
and
do.
it's just awesome. Like just that really like high contrast. I actually did a whole PDF on shadowplay as well, and just playing with the different types of shadow. There's like I love dappled light.
Dappled is a
Great
good
word.
one.
You
Works
know
for
what?
everything.
You know what gives amazing lighting? Moonlight. If you put in
Yes.
moonlight as a token, it's insane.
Haven't
It's
tried
really, really
that.
nice.
What up? Have you tried GOBO shadows?
No.
GOBO
Is that?
GOBO shadows is a good one.
GOBO shadow.
Drew, open up Midjourney, run GOBO shadows. I need to know what that is. I have no
Okay,
idea
so
what that is.
GOBO shadows would be like something like this.
Okay.
So it's like
Okay.
it's an object in front that's got the shadow,
Uh-huh.
right? Let me see if there's
See, I
like
could look
maybe
at any one of these and know that's you.
yeah, like GOBO shadows.
Yeah.
You know,
All right. Okay.
I've never heard
simple
of that.
prompt. I was actually like before this. I was like, what are some like tokens that I haven't talked about on here before? That was one that I like. I mean, you can use that for obviously not for portraits, but I'm always thinking in a large way just with like portraits. I think the other ones that I always there are a couple like really cool ones recently that I found, like pixel smear
Pixel smear.
and datamosh effect. So I think this one,
Datamosh?
I think this is a datamosh effect. This is. You know, and
Huh.
this is not a complicated prompt, right? I mean, this is like super simple stuff. But I really like the effect of stuff like that.
I've been doing quite a lot of glitch stuff as well, like with
Glitch.
like, but like you try fragmented bodies. That's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, let's run a few like random things. I always like to, like, you reminded me of one the other day, which was chromatic aberration. I just
I
think
love
like
that.
that's always a
Yes.
good one.
Always. a good one.
We could do let's do some other ones. Let's do another one I run a lot is like just weird core, like when I'm doing like the style reference, the style code exploration. Weird core is kind of a cool one.
Try prismatic rainbow light streaks.
Okay. I like where this is going. Prismatic rainbow. All right.
Prismatic rainbow.
Yes. This is what we're talking about. This is the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, like there's just so many there's just so many cool things like this where it's like if you throw that in there, it changes the entire image, you know? Um,
And that, you
so
could do like what was the other one I had? I mean, like colors and stuff. You could do pale monochrome palette as well. It's quite cool. Or like I really like things with floral as well. I use androgyny a lot as well. Like I quite like how that is like neutral,
yeah,
like androgynous beauty, for example.
See, there we go. That's another good one.
and of course I never know how to spell it, so I always have to do that. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of good ones.
I just found this prompt from Marco that we used a while back, and there's so many good ones in here. Like just even the token bashing and like the random ones. I'm like,
What was
I would
this
have
one?
never come up with this.
What was that other one we just saw that was on your feed too? It was
Oh, what
something
Metro Muse?
Metro Muse.
Metro Muse.
I mean, and look, like this, I think we're just going to run this token, right? So this is not in combination with anything. This is, I guess, more or less going to just show us kind of like the results of what we're talking about here. Using EXP at all, Marco?
Yeah, I do, but I find lower ones give better results. I find the higher you go, it kind of just like makes it very almost like stipple glazed, very dotty. I don't know if you've seen that or not on your experiments, but I tend to do like 3, 7, 13, and
Look
then
at this
like
guy,
20,
3713. All right.
There
Yeah.
we
27.
go. Welcome to the
I like that.
podcast. We're in it, baby. This is it. This is the stuff.
Fragmented bodies. And of course,
Wow.
like, so this is different too because it's got my personalization. So this is all this
Yeah.
stuff's going to differ slightly for everybody, right? But
That's
I think
cool.
this will be kind of cool. Just like look at the like this
It's almost
is
like camo,
crazy.
isn't it? It's like camo.
Yeah,
it's-
I'm really finding great. Yeah, like between I would say 0 and 10, like
Yeah.
just breaking out of this box of no EXP. I typically almost always like the 4 grid better with some EXP sprinkled in.
Look at the.
I mean,
that
see what I mean?
chromatic
Like,
aberration always
It's
works.
cool, isn't it?
weird core.
Wow.
What else you got here? Oh, that's there's some,
Look at there we go.
horns.
Prismatic rainbow light streaks.
All right. So now we
Yeah.
know we can
But
add
imagine that stacked. So that
Yeah.
prismatic rainbow light streak stacked with like cinematic fashion, or
go-go shadows with a prismatic
Yeah.
prismatic rainbow light
Yeah.
streak.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Smash
There
that
it
together.
is. Like that.
Pixel smear, pale monochrome, palette. That's dope.
Damn, look at the texture on that flower.
Very nice.
That's something I never thought I'd hear you say.
Hey, this is what we do here.
I know how you feel about the flowers.
That's right.
I did a whole load of religious kind of stuff, but like cool religious, not like in your face.
Yeah. Yeah, look
It
at
was
that. I mean,
fun.
like these are
beauty.
these are
I've
fire.
never heard this term before. Liturgical drift.
Whoa. Okay.
And it was like priest, and I did it with like motion blur, so it was like priests like floating with motion trails and stuff. It was pretty cool. Let me see if I can find that.
Look at this. And then Metro Muse. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's some fun ones. Even just I was looking in here. There's I have so much like random tokens from this prompt. Like,
which one?
Should I share it just to show the actual prompt itself, just to see
absolutely
how
share it. Yeah.
Here, this one, because I was digging this one when we were using it. It was just like and it was let's see, layered composition, text blocks, levels.
Oh, I like primal gaze.
Right, shadow hunter, apex glare. That was a good one. Ritual fang, like their editorial beast. Primal, we have the ritual profile, Haskell medium format, unparalleled precision. I sort of like that combination. I use high precision a lot, but I like unparalleled precision too. But there's so many, like tribal iconography, obsidian, etched fur. Like etched fur is a good one too, because a lot of times that's just like, or velvet depths.
Velvet
depths.
Feral whisper. Like these are, I love that kind of stuff because I'll play with that all day. Obsidian sculpt, like these are, it's fun. It's fun to
that's
play
why
with
that's why the Midjourney coherence is special.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of that magic just sprinkled in there. Where if your model's too coherent, it just kind of, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But I'll stop sharing this one now. That was just like
very cool.
I remember that prompt specifically for having like sent me on a rabbit hole with those words and then just like ripping. It was like the multiverse in there. It was like it's taking like one word and going this way and this way.
It's insane.
This way and this way. Yeah, it's really fun to play with on the token side. I still think that's like the biggest exploration. Like there's so much to be.
It's infinite.
Unearthed.
It's
yeah.
infinite.
Like
I sent in the chat that liturgical drift parade, the prompt, and also the link to some of the images I created with it. It's like literally one of my favorite image sets that I've done. It's so nice. I'm gutted.
Let's do this. I'm
gonna see how, no views.
Maybe
I did it too late at night or something.
What aspect ratio do you think I should put this in? 4:5?
I did 16:9 actually.
Okay,
but
let's do 16:9. I'll do 16:9 and 4:5.
That's another thing actually. Talking about aspect ratio, literally just adjusting, you're doing permutations with aspects, like the same prompt just changes so much depending on the aspect ratio.
Dude, so much.
It's probably one of the most important parameters, aspect ratios of the whole thing.
100%.
Yeah, there's definitely biases baked in based off of that and the training data that's in it. 100%.
Yeah, and obviously, like if you're doing like a cinematic shot, it should be probably more landscape, and versus like a close up should be 4:5 or whatever.
Oh yeah, so here's your results here through the it's sick. Yeah,
love it.
So nice.
Now, Drew, if you had a gun there, now we got a whole crossover between.
Yeah, we do. We got a collab.
None with a gun, baby. There's you want to know which one I've been liking a lot aspect ratio wise? 1:2. So
One,
like
two,
I know a lot of people don't generate in 1:2 probably, but it's been really good for like cropped vertical composition, like really solid, like asymmetrical, unbalanced, like no symmetry at all. Like
I was doing like
I love it.
321 as well at one point.
Yeah, it's just taking the wider angles and just making them. Whoosh. It's like 916, but 916 sometimes is already almost too structured based on probably the data that's input from 916. So it's like
Yeah, exactly.
let's make it thinner and let's see what it comes up with. It's great
Some of
for
those are cool.
close-ups. It looks awesome.
Awesome.
So I ran this with some mood boards on.
Just
It's
now?
cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, this is
it's interesting.
this is sick.
That one there, top left, as you're on your screen now, is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
these all have a story inside of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very cool, man.
I love motion. I really do. That's probably one of my favorite things. Motion, shadow play, and then just like I love the juxtaposition of things. So like the whole Rome reimagined. So you have like this ancient Rome. In fact, one of the prompt stacks I did was like I took some of this kind of motion, like light streaks and all that kind of stuff, and I did a Roman soldier with light streaks and then like PVC avant-garde editorial fashion as different stacks, and I weighted them differently, and like you get like PVC busts of like Roman soldiers, and then like cool stuff,
Sick.
man.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Hey, tell me this. Like, I think probably people are curious, and I'm curious too. Like, it's we all probably have different ways we go about it, whether it's intentional or not. But when you're say that idea specifically, right? What's the trigger for that idea? Are you finding something with? Is it as simple as you finding something that's Roman, and then all of a sudden oh, why not pull this into an urban environment, and then it starts to snowball? Do you see a particular token in something that you've created before, or inspiration from a past image, and you're like, oh, what if I use this in a different type of environment? Do you use LLMs to brainstorm? Like, what does your creative building process look like for idea generation?
So many layers to it. Like, so when I was younger, I used to literally just sit and mess about with Photoshop and layers, and like I used to make my own little lookbooks with like fashion stuff and just messing about with all the patterns and that kind of stuff. So I've always been really interested in colors and that kind of vibe. And yeah, like we all love looking at visually pleasing images, like, and one thing, I mean, obviously a lot of people use Pinterest, but there's one that I go on. It's called Cosmos. I don't know if you've heard of it. Cosmos.so. Really cool. It's basically like Pinterest for designers. Rory, you'll absolutely love it, mate. It's so good.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
it's a really good curated mood board
Yeah.
type feel to it.
So
Huh.
like I've got a lot of influences from the stuff I was doing previously, like with the fashion stuff. I've always loved camo, and I always like graffiti and streetwear and that kind of stuff. But I think, yeah, like I think when you see a particular image, it kind of like sometimes gives you an idea or like sparks some kind of inspiration, and like even my own images as well. Like I'll kind of iterate on them and say, oh, that'd be those two things together would be actually pretty cool to put them together. And then
This is
and
cool.
then I had this whole, yeah, that's actually really nice as well. I had this whole thing of like trying to mine the perfect prompt basically, which is why I started messing about with like custom GPTs and just documenting stuff, and trying to see like how can I improve my process. Like obviously we all can prompt, and we all have like ideas of like doing things, and you can tweak the parameters and stuff, but how can we like elevate that by like diving into not only the work that we create, but then looking at influences and then putting those into the GPT, extracting tokens and then messing with them. It's infinite, right? It's an iterative process that will probably never end. It's just an ongoing creative journey, which is awesome. And like it's like fashion in itself, like and general style, like everything recycles, like stuff that was trendy in the 80s now becomes trendy again in 2025, and people pull like animal prints into fashion or whatever it might be, so
Yes.
but I very much like I probably approach image creation the same way I approach food. I, I work with my eyes, you you kind of see what's cool and then you kind of go with that.
Put the ingredients on the table and then just be
Exactly.
like, what can I do with this?
It
Exactly
feels
that.
like a reps thing too, just like with most things. It's like if you're doing this, you know, um, the more you do it, the more ideas get unlocked, right? Because you're kind of like breaking outside of the box over time. You're finding more and more ways to utilize this or do that. And it just opens more doors and you find different pathways to go down, versus if it's more of an infrequent thing or you don't do it enough, those things just aren't going to click, you
Exactly.
know?
There's
That's
some.
that one's really cool. That one there with the NFL guy that you just went past. Yeah, that's.
Are you running a lot of this stuff in on Midjourney Video too? Like when you do it, or is that just like an
I
afterthought?
I have done some stuff. To be honest, I've run some stuff that I forgot I run as videos, and then I went back. I was like, shit, that's actually like insane.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
you
What
get
about
going
what
yeah,
in
about
that
like
prompting hole, and then it's just before you know it, you have like I'm just generating like 1,500 images, and then like bang, like I did like 100 videos in between, but I forgot about them because I did 700 images after I ran it.
I know. That's
definitely,
this is the problem. This is the
definitely done
problem.
that.
oh, here you go.
Yeah,
Here's some more tokens.
Motion smear. That's a cool one.
Just cool stuff, guys. I mean, I think people love tokens too because I think again, like you can utilize one token and that could generate and spark an entire flow
100%.
or new idea that maybe somebody jumps into. So I think that's really cool. Haven't seen.
stroboscopic pulse light.
That's
Nice.
exactly the word. That's
Yeah, haven't
exactly the one I was
haven't seen
looking at.
that.
NFL me do with a RGB spectrum trails. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Some
like
Super
cool
that.
cool.
stuff. Some cool
Hey,
stuff in there.
I mean, look, there's so many image models, video models now. I mean, updates change, they're coming every week. Maybe the prioritization of these things change. What are the tools that you're finding yourself using the most right now on image and video? Maybe like, is it, again, of course, like maybe it's just use case based, right? What is the outcome of what you're trying to do? Is it for play? Is it for more of a client? Like maybe that alters it. But like, what are you sort of like falling back on at the moment?
I think, like you said, it's dependent on what you do, right? Like, I think my default is just like Midjourney for exploration because nothing even comes close to it. Forget it. Never will. It's just game over. But like, so the stuff that I did, like that Metropolis mythology stuff, the original images were created in Midjourney, but then I pulled that into NanoBanana, right? Which is this whole new workflow. So that's actually something I really love doing. And I did something else that I showed Rory, which I haven't shared yet, but it's basically called Where Petals Fall, and it's like the idea is like it's this volcanic kind of wasteland, really black with like black soil and like a few spindly like yellow wildflowers. And instead of raining normal water, it kind of rains petals. And then this woman emerges from the soil, this black soil, and she's wearing like a yellow, bright yellow dress that's kind of in the same vibe as the petals and the flowers. And then she has this kind of like romantic exploration of the landscape, and she kind of navigates her way up to this like stone tower, and she's kind of like shots of her hand on the stones and with holding the bouquet of flowers, and then she kind of like climbs up to the top and holds them up to the stormy sky, and kind of lightning strikes, and then the petals fall and it just kind of goes black. So that's my vibe. And I did some shots on Midjourney, and then I just created literally like about 100 like insanely dope shots in NanoBanana. And like I was doing them in LM Arena, which was painstaking, but because it was so
Yeah. Yeah. It's
because
like,
it
am
was
I going to
so
get it?
good.
Am I going to get it? Nope.
Oh man.
Nope. Okay. I got to run
Well,
it
I
again.
did get a good run. I feel like the more times you selected NanoBanana in a session, the more it was shown, bizarrely, which
Yeah.
was pretty cool. But yeah, I only stuck at it because it was so good. The results, I was like, I don't care. I'll wait. But then obviously when it got dropped into free pick and all these other tools, like I literally did about 100 shots in like 10 minutes. I was like, shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
I feel like this is the perfect segue then, because we knew we were going to talk about this. We knew we were going to get into Nano Banana. This feels like a good time to do that, right? I know we've all three been playing with it, and some of the most recent stuff on your X profile is showcasing that too, right? So let's jump into this, right? Now that it's not just accessible through LM Arena and we can access it directly. I mean, how is this changing the game for you? Maybe from a workflow perspective, and maybe also just from like a what's possible perspective.
I mean, to be honest, like again, like I shared, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I did like a cinematic reenactment for the Book of Jonah with PJ about a month or two ago, and we were doing that from like January till April, May. It was like 42 scenes, 15 shots in each scene. It was like I probably made like 5,000 images minimum on. I actually used Google Imaging for that because it had pretty good consistency. But even that, like we had to inpaint like so many shots, and so that workflow, like literally, if we had Nano Banana, would have been cut by 10, 15, 20. I could probably do that in a day, mate. I reckon.
You want that those hours of your life back instantly.
But then on the flip side of that, like I love attention to detail. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it was kind of annoying me that it wasn't perfect. So I was trying to like, get it good, but it's just crazy like in that period of time how quickly the tools changed, like from what we had available. Like VO3 wasn't even released, man, like text to video. We actually did our whole prologue for that video for that film with VO3 text to video. But yeah, it's just it moves so fast. I think you obviously have like a core tool set that you go to, but it would be silly to just sit on your laurels because I mean, like Rory's been doing with Weavy, like some of the stuff he's been doing, like automating processes, because I think that's where it's going now. Now that pretty much everything's possible, especially with Nano Banana, it's not really can we make this? Yeah, you can. You can make whatever you want, but what do you want to make? And it comes down to more like people's style and their taste, I think now more than anything else. Obviously, story is really important throughout, always has been, even not even AI stuff, just in general. But yeah, I think automation and all the tools we have available, you kind of spoil for choice, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. You almost
Yeah.
have too many options, right?
So
Yeah.
many. And it's, I think that's definitely where I find myself. I put this in my last like stage presentation. I'm like, I showed like a little diagram of where each thing could go and what you could change. And it was like, this image can go here and then it become another image, or it could become a video, or it could become a 3D asset, or it could become a piece of code, or it could become text. Then from there, you could change this and this. I'm like, that's like the infinite multiverse. And that's where if you don't have some like guardrails or some sort of like limiting factor, you're gonna end up not getting anything done.
That's where we get in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh shit, what did we just spend the last hour or two doing? Right? We need some guardrails.
I've talked to companies about this too. I'm like, people that are implementing these workflows and these pipelines into their agency, into their brand, into their business. I'm like, who you also have to train? Not the creatives, the people at the top who are making decisions. Because if they just keep saying, well, what about if we put it here? What about if we change the color of the dress? What about if we do this? And it's just like, they also need to be like refocused. Like no million, because you can make a million edits doesn't mean you should make a million edits. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, because that's the bane of all existence. Anyone here listening from an agency, point of view, if you know what I'm talking about. It's just like, what about if it was a little bit brighter outside? What about if the guy was wearing earrings instead of a necklace? What about if it's like too many, because it's all possible now. So we have to or else nothing's gonna get done. I'm like
100%.
Sure. It's crazy though. I'm sure Marco, you felt a lot of that with the Jonah project.
Man, like some of the shots that I made, I'm genuinely like really happy with. Like they look so cool. There's a shot where
I'm gonna go and pull that up while you're talking about it here.
I need to see if I can find the actual thing. But basically, there's a shot where the whales kind of like spat Jonah out back into the ocean, and the fishermen have noticed it, and they kind of like go into the water and kind of like cradle him. And there's a shot of two fishermen holding him, and he's like limp in their arms. It's just such a nice shot. Like honestly, when I made it, I was like, wow, that's so cool. So like for context, Drew, we had like a proper script writer and I trained a GPT on, so we had the script, we had like a custom prompt that I built. We had about 10 different characters plus all of their outfits. We had about 5 or 6 locations, from like the king's bedchamber to like the seaside, the port, the ship deck, the ship like quarters underneath. Like, it's incredible stuff.
And that was all
This
done before a lot
this
of these
looks.
tools were easy.
I
You
know
know,
this looks bad now.
but that's the crazy thing with longer production cycles now. Like for these longer pieces that
Yeah,
people are doing, it's like if you spend a month and a half on a project, like by the time you're done, you're like, I want to go back and redo the whole thing because it's so much easier now.
Yeah, see, that's the
Right?
thing that kind of drives you nuts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, that's where it's like, man, when you talk to other people in the space, you feel a little bit less bad about it because everybody knows that. But like, when you try to describe to somebody that's not, that's where it kind of hurts you to say, oh my God, like this tech is old now, but this still
Yeah.
looks really good.
I've just
Yeah.
sent you the post where with the shot I was talking about. There's 4 shots that I really like in that.
This was when did you guys release this? This was July. That was,
Yeah,
but you guys were working on that since when? That was a couple months.
January. Yeah, January.
Yeah.
February.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Okay. Yeah.
bottom
So here we
right,
go.
the bottom right one, so sick. Love it.
So for anyone who I know is not listening to this podcast, who might be listening for the first time and think that AI is a magic button, there you go. 6 months. That's a typical production schedule. 5,000 images to start. Like that's just your portion of it too, right? I mean, that's like a lot. That's the same thing
Yeah.
as reshoots. The same thing as it's all the same. It's just a different medium.
Great
that's capturing
stills.
stuff, right? Like
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually built out with Imogen like all the characters, like literally prompting. I prompted like dry linen, wet linen, all these different things, just to like get the different vibes for the outfits and the costume, different lighting.
These are great stills. I love this eye.
That
That's
one's
great.
wicked. Yeah, that's basically the king is having a premonition, and that's like the whale's eye.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's sick. Love that.
it's awesome. The biblical content is like so prime for AI. It's like so perfect for AI. Like it's because
yeah,
it's also like how you want to interpret it. Like everyone's got their own interpretation of the stories anyway. So it's like just visualizing it in a way that looks cool. It might be different. Like you
yeah.
guys did a good job with that.
The funny thing is, PJ did this. Like, I don't know if you saw it. It was like mocking all of the like biblical stories. He did like something that went crazy viral. It was like Jesus in the tomb waiting to get brought back to life from God and stuff. I don't know if you saw his thing. It's really
Yeah,
funny. It's so
he's got a
funny.
knack at that. He's got a knack at that stuff.
It's really
But
good.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, this is. I mean, so let's circle back to Nano Banana specifically, right? I don't. Maybe some of the folks listening to this have already played with it. Maybe some haven't. What are the thing? Like, let's go to the things that are really changing the game with this. Why is this such a big deal, right? And then let's talk about sort of like maybe even some of the limitations that we're currently seeing. I think that might be a good place to go.
Totally. There's so much. Like I'm jumping in on this one because I've been trying to play around with context and flux context and runway references and ChatGPT, and they all have their own limitations. Flux to me is flat. Like I don't like flux because it looks flat. There's no depth. It's really hard to sort of bring that or like take that saturation down and take that AI look away from it. So like to me, flux has always been like utilitarian but not great. Runway a little bit better, but it also sort of like has its limitations in terms of what it can do. And then there's ChatGPT. You can't do 16:9. You can't do 9:16. You have to do whatever the aspect ratio is. They're all 3:2.
3:2.
Yeah, and it can be really good, but it can also just be really bad. and flat again. And as we said, Drew, it's all yellow and green. And then,
Yeah.
so all these tools have been, Midjourney's, I feel like OREF has gotten better, but this is next level. Like, this is like, you can take it into a scene. Like, Drew, I don't know if you've tried some of this stuff with it yet.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a still, like, let's just say it was that girl. Like, I tried it with something the other day where I was just like, keep this same exact image. Let's swap it to an 18 millimeter wide angle, push in closer. So like the field of view is still exactly the same, but the presence of the person is bigger. And it just went right in, didn't change anything. It was like I was in a 3D sort of like space. It was like, that's crazy, Or if you do the, like, I was shooting a room, and it was a room, sort of eye level composition of the entire room. And I was like, give me an exact overhead of this. And it just flipped. And the dimensions were perfect because I ran it through keyframes in frames. And like, it went from that sort of like eye level view and like traveled up to the overhead look, and like nothing morphed, meaning that the dimensions are perfect. Right.
Okay.
So it's like, that's what we're talking about. I also have a good example of this with the car that I just shared earlier.
Do you guys have a preference on the video model for start and end frames?
Kling's one now.
Kling's really good, yeah. Like obviously VO3 you can't do start and end frame with VO3, so I'm hoping they're going to sort that out soon. Surely they are going to, but it's a bit frustrating because you can obviously do start frame with VO3 and it's amazing, but yeah, like the stuff I've tested on Kling's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Hey, Rory, go ahead and pull your video up, and I'll kind of walk through, because this is a really good example here, right? Like, you can create this starting image, right? And doesn't matter where it's from. I think all of us like to go to Midjourney, but then you've got sort of, again, going back to Nano Banana here, very natural language prompts to make the update or the net new image or whatever it is, right? So I'm guessing this is what you used in terms of like fortune beneath her. Like, is this verbatim, like what you did with this image as the image ref? Yeah. And so, it's like, again, that consistent character, there's no Laura involved. I think there was, how do I get to the rest of these?
Just go up, I think.
Chain. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I see. But this is all from this one image, I guess is the point.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
And this is, again, very simple, prompt variations. Rory, you'd be proud of me. I kind of threw mine into, a Figma. I was messing around here, but like same thing, right? You get a starting image, and like I love the consistency with the colors, right?
Perfect.
Like but let's add a backpack. Let's have him, let's change his facial expression. Let's change him smoking a cigarette. Let's change him, walking back to the house. Let's remove him from the scene. Let's flip the camera angle to the other side. Let's do a aerial shot, side profile, right? Let's add a car. Let's have him play on the phone with the car. Let's have him smoke a cigarette on the car. Let's have him hold big stacks of money on the car, like up to, like whatever. But I mean, like, this is this type of stuff though, right? That wasn't really all that possible unless you kind of wanted to utilize ChatGPT, which again, kind of then takes you back into this. Doesn't feel quite. Yeah.
It's a one image storyboard. What you just did is a one image storyboard. Right.
So it's super, it's super cool. That's kind of what I was diving into with that. And I think there are some limitation. I think the one limitation I ran into too was aspect ratio, which I think I found a answer for, which was just like, if you've got maybe like one of these is a 1:1, and then let's say you wanted to change it to a 16:9. I mean, you could obviously do that in Midjourney, but if you wanted to stay in Tool, I think you could you could add white space on either side, let's choose 16, and have it fill it in, instruct it, versus saying change to a 16:9, because I was not getting great results with that.
Apparently, you can, let's say you've got a 2x3 image and you want to, like you said, you want to make it 16:9. You can literally upload a 16:9 empty frame and it will do it.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying is like, it's just like, but if you just say it without providing that negative space, it doesn't. Like that was one limitation. I think like the other limitation was, in Gemini, if you're doing this, it looks like a little bit lower res. Maybe it's a compressed file, is what I was kind of seeing.
I don't know what's going on there because the LM Arena stuff was like insane
Yeah.
when it was
Yeah.
testing it,
Yeah.
and then it was
Yeah.
like a little bit like, huh? Did they just release like the fast model? Is that what this is versus the full quality model? Which I don't know why they'd hold back on that unless it's really expensive. But it is really fast. Like that's another thing that we should mention here. Like it's fast. Like
It is
GPT takes like
fast.
2 minutes. Like this thing is like a couple seconds,
Really
and
good.
it's good.
Oh,
But
and you get one image that takes minutes, like to the point where you don't even want to stay on the screen, right?
yes,
So,
that's why.
I did a shot. I did a shot which was like it was. So I basically uploaded a reference of a guy, and I recreated this like pickup truck, and the shot that I wanted was like this guy driving like in the like driver's seat of a Porsche, but you just see like the dashboard and kind of like his POV. I managed to get his reflection, just the top bit of his hair in the rear view mirror and all that kind of stuff. Like it's so good, it's ridiculous. Just by saying, show the inference of top of his head in the rear view mirror. Done.
It's awesome. Let me let
you
me
want
pull
to?
this one up so you can so everyone can. This is a good test in terms of consistency. So, like to see actually how consistent it is. So, if you've ever run keyframes before, you know that if the two subjects are different, you'll have morphing. Like if the dimensions, like for this specific shot, like if the dimensions for the car, if there's, let's pull an example here. So, like if this is a different size, if this rear view mirror is in a different place, if the spoiler is a different shape, like you'll get morphing for keyframes. So this is like a good sort of like barometer test to show that it's like, okay, this stays the same even as it goes to an upward sort of format, right? Like everything stays the same. Even if we go down, like the wheels stay the same, everything here stays the same, like the lines on the side of the car stay the same, the exhaust pipe stays the same, it morphed a little bit there. But again, like this is pretty much like 95% consistency to get something like this, which is insane to go like, all right, let's go get these angles and turn them into keyframes. Because
Amazing.
it's interesting, like with the where is my Weavy board? I'll pull this up
And,
because this
and
is
with that, Rory, right? Like you're trying to shorten the gaps of these frames, right? So that there's
yeah,
less room for interpretation between those frames, correct?
correct. So it's also like keyframes. Again, if you have tools that can actually do the keyframes, which is great now, like that'll actually like handle it from scene to scene. The hardest part is the consistency. Like if a character's beard is two different sizes and you want to go from keyframe to keyframe, like you'll see the beard like grow in real time.
Yeah, shrink or
So
grow. Yeah.
it's like you need, and like keyframes is like ultimate control in terms of like start and end. But you know, taking this and then like starting to batch process also, like this is nano, but like on a different scale, right? So we're showing like the regular scale, and then this is like sort of what we can do from like a batch processing system, um, where this is a little tip for anyone, right? Like to start with nano, don't like it's not just the single image. Like if this was the original image I created in Midjourney, right? Like this standard image. Now, if I want to create all different angles or different shots of this car in different environments, right? Like it has the frame of reference of the front 3/4 view, right? Like it has no idea what the back of the car looks like. So if you're trying to do like, shots from behind or whatever, it's always going to be different because it doesn't have any frame of reference. So like if you're going to try to take one subject or, something like a product or a person, I think this is just like a useful sort of idea is to take that one image and then turn it into like get like sort of the rear view of it, get the side view of it, and get like a rear 3/4 view of it, like with, whether that be a person, a product, or whatever. So you have the frame of reference for each side of it first before you go and iterate a million different ways. Because if you're looking for like extreme consistency, of course, this is on like the more like professional side of things versus like just the creative side. Because when we do this, right, I'm building little prompts that are essentially saying like, take this car and just turn this into 3 prompts, one for a side, one for a rear, one for a rear 3/4. Like this is all the prompt is saying with the reference image. Keep this exact car in this exact environment, change perspective to side profile, to side angle. right? Nothing crazy. Um,
I don't
and then
understand how it like made the like. How does it know what the back looks like? Like, it's so good.
it, it's just interpreting, right? And like it fits like it fits the lines, it fits the design style, like it nails it, which is crazy. And then taking it here and then basically iterating like front shots off of this image, so using this image as the reference, and then we can get like 5 shots of the front of the car. You're doing the same thing for the rear of the car variation, doing same thing for the side view, and then doing the same thing for the rear 3/4 panel view. So again, we're using like a lot of different tools, using a lot of different system prompts here to get that done. But like it's crazy because then I'm testing it with other cars, right? Like we use the BMW.
So it's almost
Same
like
exact way.
core your core image, your kernel. Then you've got
Yes.
these this shortlisted number of pillars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in your case, you've got 3, and then
Yep.
it's the big waterfall after that because you've filled in sort of this, I don't know, let's just call it a panoramic 360 view of what this car looks like, and now because you have identified fully what this car looks like, it can go out, in, up, down,
Yes.
right?
Because
So it's
see
almost
what
like I'm looking at this like there's an image up top, and like this is horizontal. I'm almost thinking of it like vertically. It's like the image up top, then you've got this second layer, then you've got sort of all the iterations
Like
that
a
are possible
pyramid,
after
basically.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
pyramid. Yeah, there you go.
because then even more complex stuff, right? Like
so good.
this isn't an easy image, right, to play with. Like that's not an easy one.
Did
Like
you
it's a,
did you, did you
But
do a
there's a lot
post
of
on
things
that?
in that translucent. Yeah, you could see a lot of things in there.
Amazing.
so it's able to do this, and it's able to sort of take that and run with it. Like even just getting some of this stuff is impressive, right? Like it's getting the coils, it's getting the translucence, getting the gears in the front,
mm.
the tire consistency, like the treads. I mean, it's so impressive with this stuff that I'm like, damn. Like this one messed up here. It's the only one out of 20 that it really didn't mimic
Yeah, I
what's
was gonna
happening.
say, like, what's the are these pretty much one-shotted for the most
Yep.
part? Yeah,
So this is first off, again, building
it's
in
killer.
batch right here. If I was to just run this workflow again, all I'm doing is dropping in this image. I'm not prompting anything. Like this is automated, right? So
If you change
it's
the
all
image, it basically will
yeah.
just give you a new photo.
Change the image. This will then turn into 3 different shots. Then it'll upscale. Then this will get routed to here to get basically changed, varied 5 ways, varied 5 ways, varied 5 ways. It's the same exact workflow, just duplicated 4 times. Like this is the same exact thing. Prompt to LLM to split to different images. Prompt to LLM to split to images. Right. So it's not crazy, but like here in the prompting, if I wanted to, like I just gave it a shot list. That's like what I'm starting with. Just like perfect front view, macro wide angle close up, wide high, wide and high. Same thing here for going from the side view, super wide, low angle, close up Dutch tilt. So I'm giving it just a shot list of what I want. You could also automate this with an LLM if you wanted to. I was just giving it what I wanted.
I'm
Then
literally
building,
thinking. I'm literally
yeah.
thinking. Like, I wish I had this for Jonah because I bet you could apply that to like a shot list for characters.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
like
Well,
you
you want to see a
literally.
character one? this
Yeah.
one will. This one should. This one should really help everyone see sort of the power of this stuff because this is where I when we're talking about art creative or like creative direction for professional versus like having fun, like this you need like certain control, right? So like here, this is like building out like controlling each aspect of the character, just like having a little section for it, the same way you might break it out into like a modular prompt. But hair and features, body type, age, ethnicity and gender, right? So
Hey,
we can sort of
zoom in a little bit, Rory. There you go.
you see this?
Yep.
Yeah, so we have age, we have hair and features, body type, style. So we can create like a base character, right? And it's like, all right, we can just sort of choose. We can run this to 4 different image models to see which one produces and then roll from there. Down here we can put essentially like a section of like clothes so we can like art direct the clothes, right? Where we have this can be swapped. What this is doing is just saying describe this clothing in detail. So we have an image and a piece of text that sort of support it, right? and you can swap any piece of the clothes if you want to, top, mid half, lower half. And then we combine them all. We combine the images of the people and then like the prompt itself to sort of create the guy in the clothes. And once you have like the one image, right, of like the guy in the clothes, then you just go and vary it. So here I was using, in the same way as that car, it's just basically saying like, all right, generate 6 more prompts for this guy in some sort of environment with some sort of rules. Prompt structure, basically saying structure it like this every time. Run it with the LLM so it creates all the different views, right? So I can basically do like an entire
fashion campaign.
Yeah,
of
sick.
this guy, right? Like this is, and that's one way because we can also
If H&M are listening,
yeah,
yeah,
throw it into a storyboard format. Be like, all right, you shot list, whatever you want, character, doing it that way. Can also test like a different character with different looks to see how they want. So, all this stuff can happen in relatively one click. All I'm really doing here is inputting the character features and the clothes, and there you go.
yeah.
And like you push go. The rest of it happens.
That's amazing.
So that's a little
workflow's changing by the month over here.
Dude, I'm so addicted to Weavy, it's insane. I have to cut myself off sometimes, or else I'll be just totally in the rabbit hole, just like.
That's so cool though. Like the stuff I've seen you share on Weavy is like amazing. Like, and I've been tapping you up. I need to dive into it a lot more because I think when you have like creative ideas and when you like, there's like you said, there's different things. There's like dabbling on a personal kind of just vibing with stuff versus I've got a project like Jonah, for example. Using that shit is next level. That's how you like automate stuff and get things done so much quicker. But like I think the hardest part of everything is the setup, right? Because once you have the setup and structure, you can, like you say, you drop in a different card, drop in a different person, clothes. That's what it's all about.
Modular like that, right? Like if you can control the character, then you think about doing the same exact thing for the environment. Think about doing the same exact thing for a product. It's like, okay, and then you can composite it in there. And then sort of another thing I found relatively awesome, by the way, just for anyone who's still hanging around and thinking about video stuff, you can like with VO3 specifically, like I can cut out like that guy. Like if he's just in a position to like remove the background and just like paste him in a scene without having to like relight it or restructure it or anything. So it's just like 2D flat guy in scene and just like type what I want to happen and then it like immediately integrates him in like the lighting. Like, so it's like simple things like that sometimes. It's like I don't have to go and create the whole base image with the character and the setting and everything. It's like drop it in and just be like, guy walks to the right and it just like he automatically sort of picks it up. It won't recognize that. But let me show you one. This is the last thing.
I'm just going to say, I need. How long is it going to be? Because I really need to.
2 seconds. This is it. Just so everyone can see, there's a structured way, and then there's how Drew and I make our thumbnails.
Shit, look at
this. This is the full like brain on like total overdrive. Like, let's just go in a million different directions. So everything doesn't have to be structured in here either.
Bro, I'm going to start sending you outfits for my caricature.
I can put it on now. Like, we have all our variations of our characters.
Oh my God.
Our stupid text, right? So that was all I wanted to show is that, like, it doesn't have to be, like, this structured workflow in there. Like, there is like, the freedom to just go wherever your weird brain wants to take you in there.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, cool. Let's wrap this baby up. Marco, man, thanks for hopping on last notice too. Awesome. Like we enjoyed having you, man, and give this guy a follow. We'll link some of the stuff too that we can. I'll include some of those links too, and send me over anything. I'll make sure to include it in the description. But yeah, dude, keep up the great work. Amazed by all the stuff that you come up with. I mean, you're one of those, I think, that always create just real high quality things with whatever tech is currently available, and the quality that is available, you're always achieving at the maximum level. So props to you, man. Keep up the great work, and thanks for joining us. Rory, you want to say anything before we go?
So annoying. Really cool hanging with you guys. So, yeah, I'll come back whenever you want.
Come back and hang.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, and keep creating just for no agenda creation purposes. The stuff you put out is awesome, and it doesn't.
That's the best. That's the best thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Best advice for anyone else here too. So, Marco, appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming. For anybody who's still hanging on, if you haven't freaking liked and subscribed by now, and told your mother, and told your dog, and told your boyfriend or girlfriend, or whatever, just go do it. Help us out. Come on.
Another episode where we waited till the very last second to throw that out there. Also, next week is going to be episode 50. So we're thinking about doing a live stream for that. Come join us and come hang out. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Later.